part of my balance series of videos, and today we're going to be looking a little bit at how we can bring more awareness to balancing in our yoga practice, not just through the balance poses, but different ways we can start to approach those balance poses and be a little bit more kind of experimental with sensing how our balance works. So to start with, we're just going to stand on the mat and pick up one foot and kind of see if you can bend and straighten your standing leg. You can use the other foot as a little kickstand to start with if you like, but see if you can have that feeling of your foot pressing with a bit more weight into the mat as you straighten and bend your knee. You could even start to visualize into the tripod of your feet, so the ball of your big toe, the mound of your baby toe, and then the center of your heels. So perhaps sensing that you're pressing into this tripod of support in your foot. And then your arch is your spring, so that's giving us that give and support to kind of bounce off. Okay, and then from there, the floating leg's going to come forward and just tap the mat or floor in front of you, and then straighten your leg, come upright again, and then bending your standing leg knee, tap out to the side, and then stand up straight with a straight leg again. And then we're going to tap behind, stand up straight again, and of course you can be tapping down whenever you need. And then a fourth point is to tap behind you to the other side, toes tap down, stand back up to center. So let's do that again. We're going to tap forward, straighten up, tap out to the side, straighten up, you keep bending your standing knee, tap out to the back, stand up, and then tap across, and stand up. So still feeling that foot pressing into the floor, you're probably feeling some other muscles. We're going to do a couple more rounds, and this time see if you can get a little bit braver with the movement, a little bit bigger movement. You can let the arms join in, you can let your body move around a little bit more, and just see how far away from you you can tap. The more you can bend your knee and ankle, and just get a little bit creative with the movement. And you're feeling all these wobbles, you're feeling the support from your standing leg and the tripod of that foot as your base. Okay, come back onto two legs, and can you feel some work around your hip? Can you notice anything else in that leg? Maybe your shin even, or your ankle or your toes, so you'll feel where the work was for you. And then we'll do the other side. So again, you're starting by bending and straightening your knee. You can use your other foot as a kickstand at the side, or you could float it off. Feeling into the tripod of your foot as your base, and feeling that arch as the spring that you can kind of push off and land into. Okay, and then when you're ready, we'll find those 4 points to tap. So I'm going to tap forward, stand back up with a straight leg, tap to the side, and for the first round you could just do very near to your body taps, a little bit behind. And then we'll do 2 more rounds, and you might get a little bit more adventurous with where your leg goes. So this is just another way of feeling a single leg balance position. There's so many poses that use that. And really feeling that connection from toes, ankle, knee, up to your hip and all those muscles. Last round for good luck. Noticing where you might feel a bit of fatigue first, gives you a bit of information about your legs. And then come back to center. Give your legs a little shake. Okay, from there we're going to look at a really common move we do in yoga, which is transitioning from standing to a lunge, and then transitioning from a lunge back up to standing again, and how we can really feel that in that transition there's a moment when we're on one leg, and we can kind of increase that and use that as a really good balance practice. So to start with, just take your left leg back as a little kickstand, and then you're just going to bend your front knee, slide your hands down your knee. See if you can find a little bit of a hip hinge, so you're sending your hips back, and then standing up again. And as you do that, sending your pelvis back, your trunk forward, hinging at your hips, feeling the work in that front leg again. Now you could also do this with a chair in front of you for more support if this feels quite challenging, so your hands could be coming down to a chair or even to some bricks. And then if that feels fine, have a go at doing it with your back foot hovering up rather than toes on the floor. That's another option. And another option is toes on the floor or hovering up, but can you come all the way down and tap your fingers to the mat and then stand up again? So you might be using a kickstand. You might have your leg up, your hands might be coming down to a chair, to blocks or to the floor. Feeling that standing leg connection, toes, ankle, knees and hip being a team there. If that feels fine, you could take it further, hands to block or the floor, step back to your lunge. And then from the lunge, see how it feels to hop back onto one leg, that front leg. So you could do that a couple of times. And then if it's okay to hop forward, take your hands further forward, bend and straighten that front leg a couple of times just to feel that connection through the joints again. And then you could push down through that front foot, stand all the way back up. So you're using your vestibular system, your visual system and your proprioception. And then just have a go at repeating that. Can you do that in one movement? Stepping back to a lunge and then coming back up to standing. So you've got your level change going on there for your inner ear to readjust. And that front leg is working. Okay, let's try adding that, making that into a little bit of a more of a yoga flow feeling. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale your arms down, bring them to the mat. Pick up your leg, step back to your lunge. You could come on up to a high lunge. That's a good little balance move there, pressing through the tripod of your front foot. Taking your hands back down, hopping in, all the way up to standing on one leg, and then bring your leg down. Okay, let's try the other side. You can start with a kickstand, and start with a hip hinge, sliding your hands down to your bent knee, and then back up with a straight leg. Bending the front knee, hips go back, and standing up. And then have a go at doing that with the foot off, bending your knee, sending your hips back and up, and tipping the pelvis forward, and standing back up. Remember, you could have your hands on a chair for this. And then either the kickstand or the back foot up, sliding the hands all the way down to the mat, and then coming all the way back up, looking forward. Couple more. And then from there, step back to your lunge. Have a go at hopping forward, back onto one foot. You could walk your hands forward. See how you can find a bit of push down through the front leg, the front foot. Stand your way up to looking forward on one leg. Float your way back down, step back. Hop onto your front leg, push through your foot up to your hip to stand up and look forward. Let's do one more. Woo. There we go. Okay, let's put that into a little bit of a sun salutation type movement. So you could inhale and stretch up. Fold forward, take your head all the way down. You could pick up the foot, step it back into the lunge. Pressing through your front foot, come on up to your high lunge again. Hands float back down to the floor, back foot floats into the air. Stand your way up on one leg, looking forward, and then bring that foot down. Okay, so lots of ways you can modify that, lots of ways you can explore feeling balancing on one leg, making that up and down transition. Okay, so the next one is a move I really like as a prep pose for lots of yoga balancing standing poses, like Garudasana, when You're standing on one leg with the legs wrapped around, eagle pose. Things like tree pose, again standing on one leg, but this time a straight leg rather than a bent leg. And also things like variation poses like figure 4 pose in a balance, and hugging the front knee in a balance, or reaching your leg out. So lots of standing poses, and they can be quite frustrating in yoga. You're trying your best to hold a particular shape and trying not to lose your balance. It can end up a bit tense and a little bit frustrating as you lose your balance and try and come back into it. So this next move is one that I think just kind of takes away some of this trying to hold balance and brings a little bit more of a dynamic play to it. So we're going to stand on the right leg, float your left leg off again, and then we're just going to take the left leg behind and bend your right knee. So it's a little bit like what we were doing earlier. Pick that back leg up, bring it round, and wrap and cross over the front leg, bend both knees. And then just do that a few times, trying to find this continuous movement. We've got one leg moving around and one leg bending and straightening. And then you can add another variation. The leg comes forward, bring the ankle above the knee and bend forward from there. Let your whole trunk come forward and up again. And you can be tapping your foot down as much as you need. Okay, from there, let your leg come forward and lift the knee up, hold your knee. And then from there, reach your leg back almost like a warrior 3 pose. Bring it forward, hug your knee, take it back, warrior 3. Come back up to standing, take the leg a little bit out to the side, pull it in, maybe find a tree pose, maybe just be tapping the leg to the side and back in. So again, just trying to find movement rather than holding a particular shape, just to get a feel for where do we suddenly feel we're on one leg and we find that support from one leg. Okay, and then letting that leg go, feel how much your one leg worked. So it's really good training for them. And we'll do the other side. So we'll start with a little curtsy, taking one leg behind, bending your front leg, bringing the front leg forward and wrapping. So this is great prep before you try any of your standing one leg balances. Okay, let's vary that leg forward and bring the ankle to the knee. And you can do all of these by a wall or have a chair there as well. Bend in, go a little bit lower. Okay, let's add another variation forwards and backwards, bringing the knee up, leaning back, coming forwards, leaning back. So just all the different kind of shapes we make in our one leg standing poses. Coming forward and then maybe tapping out to the side, bringing that foot to the standing leg. You could reach and hold on. You could hold one toes on top of the supporting standing leg foot there, like a baby tree, and just take a few breaths. Okay, and then let that go, feel your legs. So just before you go into trying to hold a static pose, that's a really nice way, just to remind yourself it's about moving in and out of balance, and it doesn't need to be held perfectly. And you might want to look at the next video in this series, which is some of the standing poses where you take the balance out and then go back into the pose using the wall or something like that. So that's another way of starting to explore balancing poses as well.